To conclude this e-learning module, we have provided 5 lists for each of the 4 personality styles, which include general comments, a list of admirable qualities, a list of undesirable characteristics, personality indicators, and a final summary. The driver in summary. General comments. Drivers can be very intimidating, especially to those who are young, inexperienced, or have other personality types, especially someone who is amiable. They like power and control, and unless they have their ego in check, you must be willing to relinquish control to them without being spineless about it. Drivers are always up for a challenge. Admirable qualities. This person is goal-oriented, focused, and has a highly competitive nature. If you want to get something done, this is the person to take the task to. Drivers usually rise up to meet the demands of a leadership role. When they have their act together and they recognize their insatiable thirst for power and control, they will adjust accordingly and be less likely to step on toes or kick the behinds of those who seem to get in their way. They are very decisive about where they are headed, what they are doing, and how they plan on getting there. Undesirable characteristics. They can be very insensitive to the needs of others. Sometimes their decisiveness can cause them to make rash decisions or judgment calls, which they will always try to find a scapegoat for. They can be a tyrant or dictator, and high-scoring drivers with poor discipline can have explosive tempers. Drivers are very opinionated and have no issue sharing their opinion whether you want it or not. Drivers have an aggressive nature and can be bossy, argumentative, and tactless. Personality indicators. The driver has a strong and confident presence. They walk and speak with authority. There is an intensity about them which can be felt if you pay close attention. Drivers are larger-than-life people. They like the status associated with wearing high-end, brand-name clothing and driving vehicles like Mercedes or Hummer. They like large, spacious offices and domains that they can furnish with the best quality, real wood, leather furniture, and designer, not too fancy though, pieces. You will notice that they like to use time-saving gadgets and that the business environment is very formal. Summary. Drivers are excellent people to do business with as long as you give them the straight goods. They are action-oriented people and they will make decisions quickly without consulting others, which means shorter sales cycles. You must earn their respect, and if you do so, you will be accepted and on the inside. Remember to use minimal small talk as they have little time or patience for it and they will want to get down to business. The expressive in summary. General comments. Expressives are high-spirited and energetic, which can throw some people off, overwhelm them, or rub them the wrong way, especially those who are more reserved and slower paced. They like fame and recognition, and unless they have their feet nailed to the floor and have learned to be more focused and disciplined, life is always about moving at a fast pace in no specific direction. Expressives want to play. Admirable qualities. This person is a great starter, excellent at motivating others, and highly sociable. If you want to get some excitement and enthusiasm going, this is the person who can get the ball rolling. Expressives have creative minds and are phenomenal at idea generation. If they have their act together and they recognize their need for recognition and interaction, they will adjust accordingly and be more likely to adjust through the self-inflicted highs and lows of life and stay focused and on track. They can really get a crowd or a team fired up and fueled to do great things. Undesirable characteristics. They can be very disorganized and lack any sense of structure or desire to initiate such restrictions. Their illogical and chaotic approach to life can land them in a heap of trouble as they can act on spontaneous emotion rather than on logic that is supported by facts. Expressives have a lack of follow-through which causes them to leave a trail of unfinished projects behind them. They can be thrill seekers who push the limits of sanity and make people question their judgment and sensibility. Personality indicators. The expressives have a flamboyant presence. They walk and speak in a lively and upbeat manner. Expressives walk on the wild side and like to wear colorful clothing that is fun and somewhat shocking. As recognition is so important, they like to drive a convertible so they can be seen by all. Their office environment will be disorganized, lively, and active, and they may even have music playing if it is appropriate. They like to wear flashy jewelry, possibly to excess. They are more casual, and they take time to talk about personal matters like family and vacations. Summary. Expressives are fun people to do business with as long as you remember to keep things upbeat and on focus. They will make decisions quickly, which is a bonus. However, they will lose focus very quickly as they move on to other things. They are priority of the moment people. The amiable in summary. General comments. Amiables can be very challenging to gain any sort of decision from, and they will test your patience, especially if you are a driver. Their greatest personal need is to be liked, and therefore the need for approval and acceptance is very high on their list of needs. Amiables are all about being appreciated and servicing the needs of others. Admirable qualities. This person has an easygoing temperament and is very sensitive to the needs of others. If you want someone who will take the time to listen to you when you are down, take your troubles to an amiable. Amiables are loving, caring, and nurturing people who are excellent non-judgmental listeners. They have no problem following the leadership of others. Generally speaking, they are excellent loyal employees as they take direction well without attempting to rock the boat. Undesirable characteristics. They can be unmotivated and uninspired, which can be extremely frustrating for anyone who depends upon them. Amiables are indecisive, which can be a huge weakness, especially if they are placed in any sort of role that requires them to lead. They have such a high need to be liked that it can often get in the way of taking any sort of action for fear that someone will be offended or hurt. They are typically guilty of saying yes to anyone and everyone when it comes to projects because they are such a pushover. Personality indicators. The amiable has a weak and tame presence. They walk and speak with a lack of confidence. There is a bland, boring feeling about them. They fade into the background, making them unnoticed. Amiables are quiet, unassuming people who like to wear neutral, earth tone, inexpensive clothing. They like the simple things in life and will drive vehicles that are nothing special and support their needs, like a minivan, and they will live in modest accommodations such as a fixer-upper or a hobby farm. Their office space will be very basic and may include plants or even certificates promoting Save the Environment. They will set up barriers to avoid solicitation, and you will sense resistance to change. Summary. Amiables can be frustrating people to do business with as they have a tendency to prolong decisions in order to avoid making a mistake. They drag things out and always try to get others involved internally to take the focus off themselves. Work on building the relationship to gain their trust and support. Find out who else you need to get involved in the decision-making process so you can get them to push for a decision. The analytical in summary. General comments. Analyticals can be very demanding to do business with, especially to those who aren't good with attention to detail, being precise, or have other personality types, especially an expressive. They have an overwhelming need to be correct. You must never set out to prove them wrong. What you must do is be tactful enough to provide them with the information they need to come to their own conclusion. Admirable qualities. This person is logical and detail-oriented. They have a very structured approach to the tasks that they perform, and they excel at seeing things through to completion. They are highly organized, precise, and predictable. Under good conditions, analyticals are respectful, self-sacrificing, and persistent. When they recognize their unrealistic need to always be right, they can be considerate and socially behaved. Undesirable characteristics. They can be very rigid and inflexible. Their need for order causes them great stress when things don't go smoothly or according to plan. They can be overly critical of others even when it is uncalled for, and suffer from bouts of moodiness because of the unrealistic standards that they set for themselves and others. Analyticals are unwilling to take risks because of their careful, cautious nature. They have obsessive-compulsive tendencies and can come across as resentful, hard to please, and pessimistic. Personality indicators. The analytical has a neat and tidy appearance. They walk and speak in a proper and businesslike manner. They will properly announce and articulate their words, and they may even correct you. They love technology and are much easier to identify by occupation because they will be attracted to positions that require minimal interaction with others, which supports their antisocial nature. The theme of their environment is there is a place for everything and everything is in its place. Analyticals are practical and conservative people who do what they do because it makes sense and it is logical. They will justify their actions by explaining in detail their reasoning behind decisions. Summary. Analyticals are very slow to act. They must be convinced based on facts, figures, and information that it is the most suitable thing to do. Once they do change, however, they are very loyal and will stick with you if you deliver as promised. The analytical wants tons of detail, are information seekers, and they need to know everything from every angle. They are very precise and exact with regard to punctuality and figures. This concludes step number 9 of the learning path. Please click on the green Next button with the white arrow in order to advance to the next step.